Everybody, so my name's Kyle. I'm the founder of a service called Dial-A-Pilot. A little bit more about myself. I'm a Boeing 737 FO right now, first officer, and I'm going to the Boeing 777 in the next couple months. And previously I've flown the 757, the 767, and the ERJ-175, as well as the Challenger 604, and the Citation CJ2 was the first jet I ever flew. Fly a handful of small general aviation airplanes as well. Aviation is my number one passion. I love it more than anything except for my wife. I love my wife a lot, of course. When I was young, and this is kind of how Dial-A-Pilot really came to be, when I was young, I was terrified of everything. I was a really scared little kid. I remember not wanting to go over 10 miles an hour on a jet ski. I remember being afraid of roller coasters until I was in like 8th grade. I just was always really nervous, and so flying was never something I was nervous around. I've always loved aviation more than I could explain, and I love being in the cockpit. It's just so wonderful. The views we get, flying an airplane, nothing's cooler than pushing back and firing up engines, taking off. It's just really amazing. But when I started to understand just how afraid of flying people really were, I could kind of relate to them in a sense that I wanted to help them get through that fear of flying. And so that started with my sister-in-law, Lindsay. Lindsay, her fear of flying came on a little bit later in life, and she needed to talk to somebody before each flight, and that person ended up being me, of course. And we would talk about turbulence, we'd talk about the type of airplane she was on, we'd talk about the safety policies and procedures and everything that goes into making that airplane as safe as it is from point A to point B to get you to your destination in one piece and there to enjoy your vacation or see your family or whatever it might be. And so as I went through that process and met more and more people, I couldn't believe how many people were afraid of flying. And it turns out that 40% of the public, of the US public, reports being afraid of flying in some way or another, which if there's 2.5 million people that go through a TSA checkpoint per day, about 1 million say that they're afraid of flying. And there wasn't a good service that really hit a majority of that group. There's really amazing services that hit the true phobias and people that quite frankly can't get on an airplane without clinical intervention. And we have the opportunity to work with a lot of those services that are able to help people feel confident in getting on the airplane, and we're very grateful to do that. But what we wanted to do is really create this community and the link between the pilots and the nervous passengers to help them get their questions answered. And for us, the pilots, we were so passionate about this, and we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, if you will, and really time, money, and energy into getting all these ratings. And none of us fell into this business and into this job by accident. And so for us, sharing what we're so passionate about with somebody that just doesn't quite understand or have all the context and how flying has become as safe as it is, it's such a pleasure for us. And then to actually see how that service has gone and have people come back to us and say, you'd be so proud of me. This is how I did on my flight. And here's a photo of my husband and I, or my wife and I. And I'm so confident in getting on the airplane now. And there was turbulence and I didn't go into a panic attack. It's just been amazing to see. And so I'm so grateful for everybody that has come and used this Dial-A-Pilot service. And we want to continue growing that and helping more and more people by creating a community of folks that do have a little bit of nerves around flying. And I don't say that we're here in the business to fix that fear of flying, because of course the brain is not something we can simply fix with a conversation easily, but we're giving people the ability to move forward and be able to interrupt that cycle of panic by having the context and being able to put together, even though I am in turbulence, I know that I'm safe because of the design of the airplane and how physics impact the way that the airplane flies. Even though we're over the water, I know that there's a plan that if an engine fails, we're going to get back to land safely. All of those things that maybe nervous flyers didn't have the knowledge on before, they are able to have it now. So that's what we're trying to solve. So moving forward, we're going to continue to do these really great media outreaches that we've been so lucky to do. We've actually gotten to work with a number of those reporters, the Washington Post, the UK Times we were able to work with. I think it was the London Times. And so being able to actually work with them as clientele and then having them come back and interview us was really cool. It was such a awesome kind of attaboy from those groups. And so I'm really excited to keep doing that. And so moving forward, we want to build this community and we want to allow people to be able to support each other. That is the pilots supporting the passengers supporting the passengers and saying, hey, remember, you know what's going on up there. You may have a little bit of that feeling still, but you know you're not going to go into a panic attack. You know that the airplane is perfectly safe, and you know that everybody on board has the same goal as you. And so that's the direction that we want to continue to take this. Most of that conversation has come from conversations that I've had with clients in the past. In fact, I just got off the phone with one, and she shared all of her thoughts with me on where the service should go in the future and how it's benefited her. And so we're so excited to continue to work down that path and kind of grow the business by democracy and really understanding what the clients want, what the pilots want, and being able to harness the phrase, a rising tide raises all ships, and everybody's gaining something from this as far as the pilots really understanding a better way to do their jobs and be able to communicate with the passengers more effectively, the passengers being able to get on an airplane and really feel confident in doing so. And just what I always come back to in this is humanizing that flight deck and allowing people to feel like, even though they may not know the pilots on their specific flight on that specific day, they talk to one that does that same job an hour ago or even 24 hours ago, and they know the type of person that's up there flying that airplane, and they know the level of professionalism that goes into it and the level of conviction it took to get to that point. And that's where we really want to go with this. And I wanted to just give this video out as a thank you to everybody that's been a part of that. And I'm so excited to see where this goes. We've been in business for 2 months, and it's been amazing. And I can't wait to come back in, see where we are in 6 months, and kind of take that hindsight view. And so thank you to everybody. If you have any suggestions or opinions on where this should go, please reach out. We're all ears, and we're so excited to have everybody a part of this and really growing this service. It's been such a fun thing.